So several weeks ago, I was at the Peoria City Council in Peoria, Illinois, and I was reporting because there were a number of pro-Palestine activists that were calling on the Peoria City Council to pass a ceasefire resolution, which called on, both Israel and Hamas to stop fighting, and both Israel and Hamas to release the hostages that they had. And of course, there were a number of Zionists that were there that were completely and utterly opposed to any type of ceasefire whatsoever. So throughout the majority of public comment, I'm sitting over in the press area just recording everybody, and I decided kind of last minute, which is something I don't normally do, to go up to the podium and give my own public comment. And basically, I pointed out how I believe everybody is equal. I'm equal to any Jewish person. I'm equal to any Muslim person, Arabic person, etc. And why I supported a ceasefire. And afterwards, I went up to probably Peoria's top Zionist, Susan Katz, who is the president of the Jewish Federation of Peoria. And I asked her if she would be willing to do an interview with me, because I have interviewed several pro-Palestinian people on the conflict. I did a street interview with two Israeli ISU students. You can find all these links in the description below. And I had reached out to her a couple times last year after the Al-Aqsa flood on October 7th, and didn't really get much of a response. So, I saw her there, so I went up and asked her. And during that, and I'll go ahead and show the video, she called me a rabid anti-Semite. So here's the clip of me going up and politely asking her if she'd be willing to do an interview with me.
Ms. Katz? Ms. Katz, is
I have nothing to say to you.
Gittrich of Agitation Rising.
I have nothing to say to you, sir.
I would love to be able to do an interview with you.
You are not going to do an interview with me. You're a rabid anti-Semite. I will not speak to you.
Certainly not an anti-Semite.
I will not speak to you after what you said.
I believe all of us are equal.
We're done.
Let's go.
A rabid anti-Semite, or I have anti-Semitic rabies. It's kind of hard. She was being a little hysterical. Now, to be clear, during my speech, I made it very, very clear that I believe everybody is equal to each other. Nobody's inherently superior or inferior based on their ethnicity or identity, etc., etc., etc. But unless I affirm her delusion that I, as somebody who's not Jewish, am somehow inferior to her, that means that I am a rabid anti-Semite. And I was shocked, I say, because I had always learned from Holocaust survivors, no less, that being anti-Semitic meant that you believed that Jewish people were inherently inferior, which is a belief that I've never held or expressed, which is very clear by the speech that I was given. But apparently, unless I, affirm her delusion that she is somehow superior to me, that makes me anti-Semitic. So you've heard of gender-affirming care. This is Zionist-affirming care. And this is actually a delusion. It's definitely one that I'm not going to affirm. Now, Ms. Katz might say, Zach, you rabid anti-Semite. I've never once said that Jewish people are inherently superior to anyone else. And as far as I know, that's true. I certainly have never heard her say that, and I never explicitly said that I had heard her say those exact words. However, she does support a Jewish ethno-state in historic Palestine called Israel. And in order to justify an ethno-state, one of your presuppositions has to be that whatever ethnicity you prefer is somehow special or unique or superior to any other type of group that might live in that land, and therefore you have the right to do whatever you want in order to maintain that ethnic superiority, that dominance, the power that a specific ethnicity would have. So say, for instance, somebody said they supported a white ethno-state. Well, again, in order to justify that, one of your presuppositions would have to be that white people are somehow inherently superior to other people, and that's why they deserve an ethno-state. Now, somebody might say, well, Zach, look, there's, ethno-states all around. This is the one Jewish ethno-state. Why can't they have an ethno-state? To be clear, I don't support any kind of forced settler colonial ethno-state, period. I just don't. I'm not just pointing out Israel and saying, well, they're the only ones. I don't support any ethno-states, period. Now, after I attempted to talk with Miss Katz, she asked the police to escort her and her group of Zionists out because they felt, that they were in danger. She's the eternal victim. Of course, in the rotunda outside of the city council room, as well as outside, there were pro-ceasefire and anti-ceasefire people talking to each other perfectly fine. There was no problem whatsoever. But again, this whole idea that she's constantly in danger. So the only reason I'm even doing this video is because this is not the first time that Miss Katz and her sycophantic Zionist supporters have targeted me personally. Back in 2017, I was part of an organization called Peoria No Ban No Wall, which was an immigrant justice group. And we posted a video on our Facebook page, probably had the word #FreePalestine on it. And it was a video of IDF soldiers in the occupied city of Hebron shooting tear gas canisters into a Palestinian elementary school. And obviously the implication of showing this video is that one ought not tear gas little children. Seems pretty obvious. But Sue Katz saw this. She saw that we had posted this video. And her group called every single organization, individual that even had any remote connection with Peoria No Ban No Wall, and said that we were, one, anti-Semitic, and that any event that we would do would be a violent event. Now, I've probably organized personally over, 100 protests, most in Peoria, Illinois. Not one of them have ever been violent. In fact, Peoria No Ban No Wall organized several anti-fascist protests, especially right after the Charlottesville incident in 2017, where white supremacists and neo-Nazis, marched through the streets saying that Jews will not replace us, who marched right past one of the oldest synagogues in America, I believe, with Confederate flags and Nazi swastikas. Our group protested against those actions. The whole reason I'm making this video is that this is a very, very common smear tactic that Zionists will use, and that Ms. Katz has been doing for over 2 decades. I've personally met numerous pro-peace activists that as soon as they even imply in any way that Palestinians are human beings and they deserve equal rights, are slandered by Ms. Katz and said that they're anti-Semites and completely violent. I mean, I know peace activists that were protesting against white supremacist Matt Hale back in the 90s, who then went on to support pro-Palestinian causes, who again, Ms. Katz would then attack and say that they're anti-Semites, etc., etc. So I'm making this video basically to say that if you get some phone call or some message from Ms. Katz or any other of her cadre of Zionist sympathizers claiming somebody is an anti-Semite or claiming, that they're going to be violent, chances are you should disregard it, because it's probably a lie, since this specific group of people, i.e. Zionists, have a very long habit of smearing and slandering anybody that even dares, put forth that Palestinian people are human beings, that they deserve equal rights, they deserve their own state, etc., etc. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, jump over to YouTube real quick. Hit the subscribe button. We're really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that we can get monetized. And keep agitating, keep rising, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks.